All right. I think we're live, folks. How we doing? What are we thinking? Also, big win last night. Huge. Huge. Huge win. All right. Who do we got in here? We got some early risers today. A little early stream. I had planned on going live earlier, but I just wasn't able to get set up until about 20 minutes ago. So we got Meatbag, we got Dartcell, we got Dylan, Grumpy Scotsman, Dylan, Kevin, Grumpy Scotsman, SpongeBob, me boy. What's up, APOC? Yo, what's going on, Typho? We got Love. What's going on, everyone? How we feeling? How we feeling about this trade deadline from an Oilers fan perspective so far? So far. Yo, what's up, Easy Clap? I hope we're all doing well on this wonderful Friday afternoon. It is sunny out. Doing great. Love to hear that. Feeling mixed emotions. Okay. Stewart's fine. You guys, the guys just need to play better in front of him instead of throwing him under the bus. I would agree that Skinner. See, it's just what concerns me about Skinner is his stats against top 10 teams all season. Like, he hasn't found his game. The only team that he's played very well against, I would say, is Vegas this year in terms of like the top 10 team performance. But in saying that, if Skinner can play like he did last night consistently, of course, we're very happy here in Oil Country. Like, that is not a problem to me. I'd like one more trade, someone to replace Arvidsson on Dry's wing. I 100% agree. I think that should be the focus here. Should be the focus. Where is this being watched? I have Sportsnet on another monitor. So, hey, Austin, hope we're all doing well. I think the Oilers' deadline so far has been a success, but they need to make a move or two still to actually win the deadline that are quality. I agree. Now, Jake Wallman, I think, is a top pairing caliber D-man. I think he is fantastic. And the fact that he will likely be second or third pair on this team, the Oilers' defensive group as a whole is very, very strong. Assuming Ekholm is healthy, assuming Bouchard can kind of round out his game a little bit more. The Oilers' defensive core, I think, is immaculate. Probably the best defensive core in the McDavid era. They do lack depth scoring. They do lack that punch in the top six with McDavid or Draisaitl to score consistently. And obviously the goaltending discussion. So it doesn't sound like the team is making a deal for a goalie. I would like the Oilers to get some scoring help up front if they're not going to get a goalie, because, yeah, trying to compete with Colorado and Dallas in the West is yikes. Hopefully Bowman has a crazy plan for today. We're gonna see. Little disappointed so far, says Easy Clap. Okay. I'm very happy right now, personally. Like, what we've given up and what we've got so far, I think the value has been great. We're very used to our GMs really overpaying for different players. I think a lot of people are underrating Jake Wallman. Trust me, Jake Wallman is fantastic. He's going to be great. Is it wrong if Edmonton just kidnaps Aiden Hill? No, not wrong at all. Playoff Skinner will pop off. I certainly hope so. I hope post game, like game 6 Vancouver Skinner onward would be terrific. Rumors about Demko being traded. Would you take him if the Nucks offered him? Costs a lot of money. Never stays healthy. Dude's career, like, he is trending in the direction of a goalie that is going to retire early. I thought Oilers are cup faves, but I'll be honest, guys, Tampa and Dallas look insane. Tampa, Dallas, Florida, like, yeah, Colorado, Winnipeg. Yeah, he's doing the gritty dance. Top 5 goalie prospects. I don't know. I don't know enough about goalie prospects around the NHL. That's the one position that I am just like super unfamiliar with. So many rumors regarding Edmonton getting a goalie. Are we saying we get no more trades? What's more likely? I think it's more likely that Edmonton trades for a forward than a goalie. I don't think they're trading for a goalie at all today. That's the impression that I'm getting. No goalie trade is happening. Charlie Coyle has been traded to the Colorado Avalanche. Charlie Coyle of the Boston Bruins is going to Colorado. So Colorado's loading up. Their center depth is actually crazy. Colorado, man, that's wild. Colorado is they're really loading up, hey. I think the team is trending upwards here, Zach. I'd say the last 4 games they've been playing much better. They just have to put it all together. But I can't. They're trending up. They've won 2 of their last 3. We'll see if they can find a little bit of momentum here. Should staff management keep Dineen in the lineup after Ekholm gets healthy? No. I think with the acquisition of Wallman, Dineen goes back down. But I am confident in Dineen being a good call-up option if there are further injuries to this lineup. Greetings from Germany. Welcome, welcome. That's awesome. Marchand, Perry, and Frederick would be the most hated line in the NHL. Oh my God, could you imagine? Who's available and who would you sell for them? Tough to get a good goalie in this league. I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that. Do we waive Klingberg now? I don't know where he fits anymore. I would like to imagine if they can't trade him, they will likely waive him because he doesn't really have a fit. He's basically the number 8 D-man on this team now. Like, I value Stetcher more than Klingberg. Yeah, I liked Dineen his game yesterday, too. I love that Paul Coffey put him out in overtime. That was pretty cool, too. Oh, Askarov for sure is, yeah. Is Askarov even considered a prospect anymore? Isn't he, like, full-time in the NHL now? I'm getting my Joker face makeup ready. Oh, no. No! Okay, so sounds like Boston's getting Casey Middlestad from Colorado for Charlie Coyle, according to Elliot Friedman. He's just talking about it on Sportsnet right now. Let's take a look. Bold prediction for tomorrow's game. Ooh, you know what? I'm going to say 5-2 Oilers tomorrow. I'm feeling good. I like where the Oilers game is trending right now. I like that McDavid is starting to look more like himself. Draisaitl continues to produce, and I expect a bit of an extra jump in the players' steps, depending what happens the rest of this trade deadline, if they can get one more good player. I hope we get a player that brings us to the finals again. I hope so, too. I hope so. Oilers 42-0. I was digging those Jonathan Quick rumors. That would have been an interesting one. Jonathan Quick would have been an interesting one. Yeah, like Colorado for sure is. I think Brock Nelson was a great pickup. And, you know, Charlie Coyle has playoff experience, Stanley Cup final experience. So I expect the Oilers to do nothing. Well, at least they've already done a couple things that have been good. I'd like more, though. I'm selfish. I'm being a selfish Oilers fan. I want more. Bouch needed that goal. He needs more. Bouchard, if the Oilers had lost that game in overtime, oh my God, the online discourse would have been crazy because he played so bad in the overtime until the very end where he scored. The giveaways that he had. The Oilers, they call that timeout. I didn't talk about this in the postgame reaction last night, but Chris Knobloch, he calls the timeout to get McDavid and Draisaitl a rest, give his boys some extra time to get their breath. The Oilers win the faceoff in the defensive zone with full possession, and then Bouchard just bobbles it around, loses it. Oilers get the possession back, goes back to Bouchard, and he gave it up again. That was crazy. I couldn't believe it. God. Oh, speaking of memberships, I do owe 10. I do owe 10 gifted memberships, so maybe you'll be one of the lucky ones that gets one. Stu being sat out for 2 games. Yeah, I think so. I think he just needed a reset. Saw that in the playoffs last year. They sat him, and then he was great after the reset. So, what's up, engineer? Hey, thanks for renewing the membership. I appreciate that. How are we feeling about Kapanen? He's okay. Hasn't been dreadful, but he hasn't been great either. Forgot I lost my membership. It's all good. Coyle got traded for Middlestad. All right. Is it just straight up? Because obviously Boston, they're trying to get younger. They are retooling or going into a full rebuild now. So I appreciate that, Zach. Get rid of Kapanen. All right, folks. I do owe 10 gifted memberships. So membership gifting. I have 10 memberships to gift. I'll gift 5 now, and then we'll gift 5 at the end of the stream. So good luck if you get one. Congrats. If you don't, maybe you'll be part of the next wave. Small got one. Marvin got one. Thomas, Lost Phoenix, and Danny. Congrats on the gifted memberships. I hope you enjoy your stay. Would still love a better goalie, but would prefer top 6 winger. That's super fair, Banana Man. I captured a Martian. What a trade though for Boston. And I guess we can kind of take a look at the some of the trades that have happened. RNG's never in my favor. I'm so sorry. Hey, no worries. No worries, Marvin. So the trade deadline is in about 53 minutes. But a lot of times there are trades that happen that have been processed, but they don't come through until after the deadline. So like usually a half hour after that 1 p.m. Mountain deadline, you usually see other trades trickling in from the NHL head office, whoever is in charge of doing that. But Casey Middlestad is going to the Boston Bruins. Charlie Coyle going to the Colorado Avalanche. Colorado, of course, acquired Brock Nelson last night. Luke Kunin going to Columbus, supposedly. Rantanen was traded to Dallas and then signed an 8-year extension at $12 million a year. Logan Stankoven and 2 first-round picks going back to Carolina. Scott Lawton from the Philadelphia Flyers, third-line center. Toronto gets a little bit more depth in the center position. They give up Nikita Grabenkin, who is not a super highly touted prospect, but a prospect nonetheless, and a 2027 first-rounder. And then Philly also retained on Lawton. So not a bad pickup for Toronto. I think it's a slight overpay. I don't think Lawton is that great personally, but that's just me. Seattle, they get a second rounder for Brandon Tanev. Good pickup for Winnipeg for Tanev there. I don't know why this is randomly in French, but a second and a fourth to Pittsburgh for Luke Schenn, who goes to Winnipeg. And then you had the big trade earlier between Buffalo and Ottawa. Cousins going to Ottawa, Josh Norris going to Buffalo. I don't know what Buffalo is doing. I don't ever know what that team is doing. They make absolutely no sense to me. And then, of course, last night's big deal between the Oilers and Sharks. The Oilers get Jake Wallman for Carl Berglund and a first-round pick, conditional 2026. I love how these draft picks are randomly in French. Like, I don't understand that. That's so funny. But that's just a quick update on some of the bigger deals that have happened. Buffalo's a mess. Feel bad for them. Dallas is scary. Dallas is terrifying. Now, they still have some question marks when it comes to their defensive group. Because how much longer is Heiskanen out? I know Thomas Harley has done amazing, in that replacement role on the top pair. But if Heiskanen is not healthy enough for the first round, obviously that's a big blow still. All my fake gambling coins on Rantanen being traded. So with the Bruins trading Charlie Coyle, do they move Brad Marchand, or is Brad Marchand going to stay? Because that would be quite the fire sale for Boston to get rid of Charlie Coyle and Brad Marchand on the same day. That's true, Bromsley. He does. He do. Dallas versus Colorado. That's what I'm hoping for as an Oilers fan. I hope they just beat the crap out of each other and they go 7 games and then we pick them up in the second round. Otter might fall off though. Hopefully if Oil sees Dallas, we can break Otter. I hope so. We scored pretty well against Ottinger. Like we weren't like lighting him up in the playoffs, but you know, Stuart Skinner played better than Ottinger in the conference finals last year, so Leafs are a good team. I can't say they're seriously strong contenders. They're in a terrible spot when you're not mid, but not scary. They need to get some more good pieces. Toronto is also being carried a lot by goaltending this season too. They don't have bad advanced metrics, but their advanced metrics show that they may not be as good as where they are in the standings. They're likely not a first in the division type team, but if their goaltending, you know, if Stolars and Wall can hold the fort, that's a team I could see go, you know, make a run. Did we get Devin Dubnyk? Wake up, Oilers. Edmonton is too focused on being the damn New Jersey Devils with defense. Bring in firepower. They do need extra firepower. I don't disagree with that. So I'm just like refreshing my Twitter feed like over and over here just to see if there's anything else coming through. As time keeps ticking, I think Bowman might be done with trades. It definitely looks that way. I'm hopeful that there's something else here. I'm hopeful. Am I the only one who thinks Utah Hockey Club should call their name the Utah Raptors? Geographically, it makes sense. That'd be a fun name. In terms of all the contenders in the East, Devils don't have Jack Hughes for the season. Capitals don't have a real superstar, at least this moment. What are you talking about? Alex Ovechkin is producing at superstar level again. Washington looks like a first-round exit team to me. Their PDO is impossible to sustain. They're like Vancouver last year, but their PDO is even higher. Like some of the things that team is doing, their shooting percentage and save percentage, one of them is going to regress hard when the postseason hits. I would not be surprised if Washington is a first-round exit. Got here late watching in 1.5 speed till I catch up. Nice. Firepower is expensive and Oilers are cheap right now. Well, they just have too many players with no movement clauses. What time does the trade deadline end? In about 45 minutes. The condition on the first that we gave is if the... I can't remember. Hold on. Let's look it up. If the Oilers' first-round selection in 2026 is in the top 12, the team may instead choose to transfer the 2027 first-round pick to San Jose. Should Edmonton choose to trade their 2027 first-round pick prior to the 2026 NHL trade deadline, the 2026 first-round selection will automatically transfer to San Jose unconditionally. That's the condition on it. If you got all that, great, because I'm not repeating it. Mrazek to Detroit. Does that mean Detroit's trading one of their goalies to us? Okay, so Chicago's... okay, there's 2 goalies potentially available here from Detroit. Alex Lyon and Cam Talbot are available if Detroit's acquiring Peter Mrazek. Oh, boy. Oh, what do we think here, folks? What are we thinking? I would be good with either of them. Cam Talbot would for sure want to come back. I think he loved it in Edmonton. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen, but there are 2 goalies available now. We'll see Bowman. Bowman better be calling Yzerman. Stevie Y. Okay, so that's big news. That's big news here. The fact that Detroit picked up Mrazek means one of their other goalies is likely either being moved or on the block right now. I would imagine. You don't know that, QF Pro. Who knows? I didn't think we were going to get Jake Wallman, who is a top pairing D-man. Let me huff copium. Let me huff the copium. I will huff copium forever, as long as it takes. Top 6 winger or bust? Why not both? Can we afford another goalie? Not sure. No idea. I don't know because I don't know what market value is. Well, we know for sure there's a player in Edmonton that did ask for a trade. We just don't know who it was. Do we think we gave too much? Not at all. I think it was actually an underpayment. Personally, like San Jose, they basically got Jake Wallman for free from Detroit. So what they got for Wallman is terrific, but the Oilers didn't. The Oilers barely gave up anything for a legit top 4 D-man. Like, I think that's a terrific trade. We don't know who it was, Sporting Page. So Craig Smith and Peter Mrazek going to Detroit for Joe Veleno. Interesting that Veleno was traded from Detroit. Isn't he only like 25 years old? Hey, Austin, how's it going? I'm listening to you while I'm at work. Love to hear that. Hopefully work is going well for you. Yeah, there was someone from, I think it was Edmonton Sports 1440 or Edmonton Sports Talk. Someone that's like in that sphere said that they heard that there was a player that requested a trade. We just don't know who it was. That was a few days ago. It's all speculation, so don't take my word for it. I am not in the loop on anything. I'm not an insider. Just want to go home and have my weekend already. You're so close. You're so close to the weekend. Yeah, I don't know what Detroit's doing. Detroit is such a... I don't know what Steve Yzerman's doing. It was probably... Yeah, I don't think it was Draisaitl. My name is also Austin. It still throws me off every time you say her name. That's funny. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Arvidsson. He just hasn't... He hasn't looked comfortable. I also wouldn't be surprised if it's Jeff Skinner either, just because he's healthy scratched all the time. But obviously, either player are going to want to go to a playoff team. Like, Jeff Skinner will not waive his no move to go to a non-playoff team. He signed in Edmonton to be in the playoffs, right? He's never played in the playoffs before. And Victor Arvidsson, of course, he wants his chance to win too. Oh, the Bruins actually did really good. Their return that they got for Middlestad is terrific. They got Middlestad, Zellers, and a second rounder. I don't know anything about Zellers, but Middlestad and a second are really good. He knew Brandon Saad's fate and shared it on Twitter. Good old Brandon Saad. Brandon Saad told me that he was coming to Edmonton. He lied. I'll never forgive Brandon Saad for that. That's fair, McSorley. I agree with that. When we get Costin back, I don't think there's a fit there. I liked Costin. I just don't think there's much of a fit, and he costs $2 million, and San Jose doesn't have any retention slots left, so that would be a tough one to bring in. What's wrong with Edmonton? Edmonton's a nice city. Your videos make the season way more fun. Hey, no problem, Meatbag. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all of your support. I do appreciate it. And that goes for everyone else watching too. Whether you comment or you don't, that doesn't matter to me. The fact that you guys all tune in regularly, that's really nice. Cody Glass is being traded from Pittsburgh to New Jersey, according to Elliot Friedman. That is not Edmonton. Oh, Bowman press conference might be earlier than expected, so maybe the team is done. Maybe the Oilers are done, folks. Bob Stauffer said that Bowman's press conference might be earlier than expected. Usually the press conferences are after the trade deadline, so we're going to keep an eye on that as well. Jack Campbell with a fake mustache and glasses got traded to Edmonton. No, I don't think we're getting a goalie either. I have a source that says Tom Gazzola just said the Oilers are in a holding pattern on something. Okay. I wonder what they're in a holding pattern for. So Tom Gazzola saying the Oilers are in a holding pattern on something. Yo, what's up, Tobias? Are you going to start live streaming the Capitals because Ovi is 10 goals away? It depends when he's projected to beat the record and the Oilers' schedule. Because it's historic, but the coverage of it is going to be so saturated that, like, I don't know if I'll probably have a video on it, but I don't know if I'll live stream it. But we'll see. Never say never. Sorry, I'm just looking at Twitter. I'm just refreshing Twitter right now. Interesting. We'll see what happens here. We're seeing what's going on. Hellebuck to Emden for Nurse, or else we fire everyone. Hey, Darnell Nurse has actually played pretty good this season. Gazing intently. Yeah, I got the Twitter feed just constantly refreshing. Bowman adding suspense before he makes a huge trade. That's the thing, huh? I agree, Joe Mama. I agree. I don't think they're looking for a goalie. Like, I'm going to just be frank with everyone. The Oilers are not going to trade for a goalie today. That would be shocking to me. RNH is as good as the roads in Edmonton. Yeah, RNH has had a tough year. He has had a tough year. He has moments where he looks great, but his overall production at 5-on-5 has not been good. It's true. It's true, APOC. I don't think we're moving RNH. He has a full no move. He wants to retire an Oiler. And the fact that the Oilers are, in contending status. Whispers are Marchand is coming to the Pacific. Now, who was saying that? Boston, Austin. Austin, Boston. If the Oilers got Brad Marchand, I will jump through a wall. I don't think it's happening, but I would jump through a wall. I would be so excited. I could be our goalie. Yeah, no way. No. I'm guessing LA will get Marchand. I wouldn't be surprised. LA needs some scoring help. Like LA, they are such a strong defensive team and they're such a good system. Like their neutral zone and defensive zone, they are so hard to penetrate. Pause. Don't take that out of context. But adding Marchand for the Kings would be a huge, huge add for them. That's true. Or if someone like Arvidsson waived their no move to go to Boston, that would also work. They would only have to retain 50% on that, but it depends. It truly just, there's a lot of variables that would go. There's a lot of variables. Marchand for Schwartz and a first rounder sounds good to me. I'm down. I'm down for that. Now, RNH is like, he's always been a sneaky smart player. He's just never been elite in anything. He's good in lots of things, but he's never been great at anything. Which, I mean, I guess you could argue power play specialist. He's instrumental in that power play being historically good a couple years ago, but Bouchard for Dobson is a loss, in my opinion. McCarron would not be who I'm looking for. Olivier just re-signing Columbus, but I did like Olivier. If Marchand's coming to the Pacific, there could be a bidding war for that. No kidding, hey? I mean, he's a difference maker on the ice. Like, he doesn't produce the way he used to, but he is a difference maker. That would be amazing, Zach. Geeky to Edmonton would be a great pickup. Morgan Geeky is terrific. I love his game. I'm in a second. That's such an overpay. I wouldn't do that. Wouldn't do that one. Marchand is a unrestricted free agent at the end of the year, and Hyman still has a term. That would not be a good trade. When does the trade deadline end? About a half hour from now. Depends on the package. I would hope the Oilers don't give up on Savoy, but it depends on the package. I do get the impression that Edmonton is probably working on something, though. Things are very quiet from the Edmonton front. We haven't heard anything from the Edmonton front since the Wallman trade last night. Exactly, Bromsley. And you look at the arms race in the West right now with Colorado and Dallas loading up. Winnipeg to an extent. The Oilers need to do a little bit more here. Do you think Oilers bounce back from the slump now, or was it just another off good showing? I think they're bouncing back. I'd say they've played pretty decent hockey in their last 4 games. Obviously, the Anaheim game, they had a stretch of 6 minutes where they laid an egg. But I've liked their game. I think they're trending upward right now in a positive way. Not yet, Lucas. I think that's still a pipe dream. I don't imagine that they will get a goalie. I think a goalie is something they are not working on. Yeah, the effort level for sure. Just saw a mock of Marchand and a second for Arvidsson and Savoy. Savoy would be a tough one to let go because we likely wouldn't re-sign Marchand. So a pure rental, we'd have to see. That's right, vehicle. Yeah, Montreal just works their tail off. Hit the like, y'all. Don't forget exactly. Smash that like button. Smash the like button for early streams. We love the early streams. I hope so. I'm hoping that Stuart Skinner will lock things down. I'm hoping the team is able to play better in front of him too by the time the playoffs start. Yeah, it truly depends who the rental is. If you're trading Savoy, I value Savoy a lot, and I know they want to win now, and I know I love Brad Marchand. I don't know what that deal looks like for me, if I would like it or not. Who's going full force, try to kill an icing and Bouchard after a couple strides, beat him by a mile. Yeah. Gallagher, just injuries and age caught up to Gallagher. I loved watching him in his prime for Montreal, except against Boston in the playoffs. I hated that. But anyways. Yeah. Ranting into Dallas. That's all good. Nobody ever has to apologize for not hitting the like button. But we got lots of people in. 125 concurrent viewers. That's terrific. That's awesome. So thank you all. Good crowd today. Love to see that. Sorry, I'm just refreshing the Twitter feed. I was just seeing if anything came through. Nothing came through. Yeah, that's interesting to me. Rantanen moving twice in one season is completely wild. Makes me wonder if, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate, actually. We're all excited and bored at work. I remember during trade deadlines when I was in middle school and high school, I used to just take the day off from school. I'd stay home and watch all the coverage. The one day that I didn't, when Ryan Smith got traded in 2007, trade deadline 2007, I was in math class. I was in middle school, so I was in grade 8. I was in math class, and the trade deadline had passed. And my teacher, he had the trade deadline coverage on like big smartboard. If anyone knows what a smartboard is, he had the trade deadline on a smartboard from his computer. And the trade deadline passed and saw the Oilers didn't really do much. And I was like, oh, cool. That's great. And then found out about 20 minutes after the deadline, the Ryan Smith news came through. I was so emotionally distraught. I left math class and I walked home. And I took 2 days off of school because Ryan Smith, like that was my guy. That was my favorite player. I was so upset. I think it's affected him, APOC. I think being traded unexpectedly from Colorado and not being able to play with McKinnon every night, I think that did affect him. Hey, good afternoon, Gravy. What's going on? Stoffer says they're trying to move both. I mean, you have to try, right? I know they have no move clauses, but you have to try. Oh, me too, Tobias. I loved that as well. I was so happy when they traded back from LA. Was that 2011? Summer of 2011 or something they got him back? Yeah, Nietzsche's is great. Nietzsche's has fit in well, but a lot of players fit in well with Nathan MacKinnon. Nathan MacKinnon elevates players so much. Also, Cale Makar last night, 6 points. Did anyone see that? 6 points in a game. I mean, Hyman, I'm giving Hyman the benefit of the doubt. And Ryan Nugent Hopkins earned the contract that he got. He took a massive discount, actually. They're not as concerning as the lack of production from other players in this lineup. I think Hyman will regress back positively for the playoffs. I think he's going to be just fine. I know nothing about basketball, but the fact that even I knew that trade from the Mavericks was insane shows just how crazy that one was. It wasn't Bowman, it was Jeff Jackson fighting Sioux Hockey. It was Jeff Jackson that gave the no move clauses. If Carolina doesn't move any of those firsts that they got for Rantanen, then that's just a huge failure, in my opinion. I mean, the regular season still matters. You can get an idea, you can evaluate, you can see how they're going to play in the playoffs. Obviously, we want more production from Nugent Hopkins. I don't think Hyman produced in the playoffs. Nobody in that top six last year produced in the Stanley Cup final, though. I don't disagree with that. But Hyman did produce during the playoffs. I remember Jared Stoll. Jared Stoll used to be the trigger man on power plays in Edmonton, and he used to break 3 sticks a game. It was hilarious. Johnston, Wyatt Johnston extends in Dallas. Yeah, I just saw that. 5 years, $8.4 million a year for Wyatt Johnston. I think that's a good deal. Wyatt Johnston's terrific. Wyatt Johnston is a terrific player. I think that's great value. He could have played in the MLB. Oh, really, Corey? That's cool. I agree, Mr. Chessmaster. I've assigned Stole Stick from his Emden days. That's cool, Bryce. I couldn't tell you why Skinner's the scratch over Janmark. Janmark's breakaway last night was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Okay, still waiting on news. I mean, things have slowed down. There's only 20 minutes till the deadline, so it's very likely that we may not see another deal for the Oilers here. I think it's tough for a goaltender that is in a backup role to be given 2 starts in a row. What then? Like, I don't know what the statistics are on it, but I just think that while it didn't help that the chances that Edmonton gave up weren't like defensively, they did not play well in front of him either. For 6 minutes in that first period, yikes. That makes sense. That makes sense about Johnston and Rantanen with the same agent. Favorite goalie is Mika Kiprasov. Yo, Kiprasov was a nightmare. As an Oilers fan in the 2000s, wasn't a fan watching him every single night against Edmonton. Best available, Shen, Marchand, and Elias Pettersson. Maybe Brock Besser, too. I'd prefer Xavier Bourgault over Johnston. No. Should have been included in the Wallman trade. He must have the money. Well, San Jose doesn't have any retention slots, and the Oilers don't have the cap space. Because Klim Kostin makes $2 million, which is a little bit rich for a guy that can't score anymore. He went on a heater with the Oilers. It was fun, but I liked Kostin, but Clefbaum could be good for us now. Too bad. Yeah, what a shame, man. Clefbaum was so good. TSN is funny sometimes with how they analyze things. Yo, Craig Button on TSN today said that the Oilers' defensive core right now is worse than last year. And I'm like, no, our defensive group is much better this year. Like, Craig Button thinks Ekholm Bouchard, Nurse, CC, Kulak, Desharnais was better than Ekholm Bouchard, Nurse, Kulak, Wallman, Emberson. And I can't take Craig Button seriously when he says that, because our defensive core is much better. This is probably the best defensive core that the Oilers have had in the McDavid era. Like, this is way better, in my opinion. Right? I don't know. And no disrespect to CC or Desharnais, but Wallman and Emberson are massive, massive upgrades on both. Like, massive. Like, it's not even close. So that was a fun one to see today. Saw my comment on Oilers Nation a day or so ago. Very nice. I don't even know what I commented. I comment a lot on different things. Hopefully it was not a bad comment. The D on the Oilers are horrific. Wrong. The D on paper is very good. They got to put it together on the ice. I assume that Nurse was a terrible D-man. Turns out it was all CC. Yes. Not all CC, but a lot of it was on Cody CC. It's like going from a horse to a Tesla, not a Bugatti like Ekholm, but a Tesla. Exactly. That's a great analogy. Oilers picked up Wallman. Yeah, they have Wallman. That was official last night. Came in at about midnight Mountain Time last night. All right. I'm going to take a quick bathroom break because drinking caffeine does that to me. So I will be back in like 2 minutes. Hopefully a big trade does not happen while I'm going to the bathroom. So give me like 2 minutes. Y'all get the chair, but not the chair that you all like. Because I know you all like the other chair, but you get this one instead. right. A huge trade happened while I was gone. I don't know about that. I had my phone on me. I didn't hear any dings. Oh boy. It's quiet. All quiet on the trade front. Of course, Zach. Of course I did. Always, always, always. Do I think the Oilers their D can? Their goaltending that's a tough one. Better than the other ones out there. Checked out all of them today. Anyways, keep it up. Hey, no worries. Doing my best. Hey, I appreciate that, Chess Master. Thank you so much. I've got a Twitter bot running to ping me if an insider tweets something. Oh, nice. You got like an actual bot going. That's fun. I have many different things open on my monitors right now. Brad May. Sorry, I'm just like I'm reading so much on my monitors. So if I don't engage for like a minute at a time, I'm just reading things. Skinner isn't as bad as he's playing. The Oilers defensively are a mess. I don't disagree with that. The Oilers, for the past, I'd say 12, 13 games overall, have not played nearly as well defensively as they should. No, you don't do that, cute doggy TV. Don't do that. I do it because I love doing it. And cute doggy TV comes in with the $6.99 super chat. Lemon character and baby lemon jumping in the air to do a high five is what my chat says. That's so funny that it says that instead of just showing it. Thank you, cute doggy TV. Thank you for the $6.99 Canadian super chat. There's a really bad looking heart for you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Heck yeah. What should I get for lunch? I'm thinking 2 McDoubles for McDonald's. I'm thinking that's my lunch today. 2 McDoubles. What are we thinking? That's usually my go-to if I get Mickey D's. Just in from work in the UK, Oilers done anything today? Not today. Their most recent move was the Jake Wallman trade yesterday. There's 10 minutes until the deadline, and nothing that I know of that's in the works. Ooh, matzo burger from A&W. You know what? Matzo burger might be the play here today from A&W instead. How many times? I mean, hopefully only a couple more times. Hopefully not too many more times. Triple quarter pounder with extra cheese and patty. Oh my god. It's too much meat. Welcome from Germany. Welcome back, Christian. Good to see you again. Got food poisoning from the first burger I ever ate at McDonald's. Ooh. That's a tough one. Just had KFC at Londonderry Mall. Good old KFC. I like Mary Brown's. All right, do we think a deal comes in the last 10 minutes? Yo, another $3.99 super chat. Thank you so much. What the heck? Yo, no more. No more. That's enough. Thank you. I truly appreciate that. Thank you. I'm humbled. Thank you so much for the $3.99 and the $6.99 super chats. That's another team that hasn't done anything today that I am shocked is Vegas. Vegas is always in on everything. Big Mac David and Freiseidel should be the real meal. I like that. I agree, Colby. Oilers fan from Kazakhstan. Hey, welcome. That is incredible. Welcome from Kazakhstan. That's cool. So many viewers from all around the world. I love that. Thank you all so much. They trade away whenever they want. They don't care. And I kind of like that. I kind of like the ruthless mentality of the Vegas Golden Knights because it's about winning at all costs. The official TSN Twitter account just tweeted eyeball emoji. What does that mean? Just a button that says thanks. I appreciate that, Epiphany. Yeah, smash the like button, folks. Smash the like button if you have not yet already smashed it. Just waiting on potential news here. Waiting on potential news. Don't know if there's anything in the works. The Oilers could very likely be done. There's not much time left until the deadline, so. Oh, what did Vegas tweet? Oh, they tweeted hi. How cryptic. How cryptic. That's right. Yeah. Like once the 1 p.m. deadline hits, it doesn't mean that a trade can't still go through. But time's ticking here. Time is ticking for the Oilers to add a top 6 forward today. If Vegas gets Brad Marchand, I'm going to freak out. The tension. Yeah, it's quiet now, right? Once we get to the final 5 minutes here, things get intense because there's usually something that trickles through. I don't know, APOC. They find a way to afford everything every year. Oh, that may be Epiphany, maybe. Yeah, I think what has happened here is Bowman's hands have been tied by Jeff Jackson's decision to give every forward some form of trade protection on the Oilers. Like Arvidsson and Jeff Skinner with the trade protection. The fact that Arvidsson had trade protection and nobody knew until like a few days ago, that's rough. Age might be catching up to him. Nurse Younger should be able to handle the load. Yeah, I'm very curious to see how they make the defense pairs. Wallman, he doesn't play a lot on the right side, though. I think you're going to have Nurse Kulak, Wallman, maybe Wallman Bouchard, and then Ekholm Emberson. Maybe. Arvidsson's a playoff performer. I mean, if Arvidsson can perform in the playoffs, I won't be upset not moving him. But if there's a deal to be made where you can move him for someone that is producing this year and can produce in the playoffs, I would prefer that. Yeah, the Jets have the goaltending aspect, and they have very good special teams. I mean, Winnipeg's power play this year is just outrageous. Reminds me of the Oilers' power play from a couple years ago. Puck Empire tweeted that Puck Empire says Vegas is heavily interested in Brad Marchand. Let's see if anything gets done before the deadline. I'm going to be very mad if Vegas gets Marshy. They do, yeah, they do, Kate. Trades do roll in after the deadline. As long as they were completed before the deadline and like sent to the NHL head office, yeah. Because there's usually a backlog of trades that trickle through. I don't know, Minister. I don't know. Not sure. Cam Robinson from Elite Prospects says, I'm told we're going to see a handful of noteworthy deals come in over the next few minutes. Dallas, Carolina, Vegas, all seemingly still working. No mention of the Oilers. Will Wallman play for us tomorrow night? I don't know. I'm not sure yet. All right, trade deadline is in 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes. Haven't seen anything here, but it sounds like there are deals that are going to come through after the deadline. Something brewing in Vegas. Patrick Laine not on the ice for Montreal Canadiens. Interesting. Are you sure, Luke? We'll see. Deals can come in after the deadline. Nashville made no moves. I don't know. Nobody's tweeted that the Oilers are done, and we've hit the deadline. So if the Oilers had a trade done before, right now, it can still go through. But if they didn't get it done, then that's it. So we're going to hang out for another probably half hour to an hour. Let's see if the Oilers got something in at the last minute. I can drive them to the airport. Holding pattern trade seems to have been completed. Details to come. Who said that? I'm not seeing anything from any Oilers media guys yet. Not seen anything from Oilers media yet. But usually, when the Oilers are done, they usually announce it like before the deadline. We've seen that in the past. It's very quiet, that there's not much that has come through. Still waiting. Still waiting. Yo, what's up, Dacky? Welcome back, my friend. Time to smoke a bowl and mull it all over. Now, I don't think the Oilers... Last minute possibility. Elliot Friedman says hearing Brad Marchand could be traded to Florida. The Florida Panthers. No. Marchand with Bennett. Oh, God. No way, man. Elliot Friedman. Elliot Friedman tweeted, last minute possibility, hearing Brad Marchand could be traded to Florida. This is the official Elliot Friedman account, too. Oh, man. Oh, man. I don't want Marchand in Florida. Florida was probably the worst case scenario for me as a Bruins fan, other than Vegas. As an Oilers fan, Vegas would have been worst case scenario. Panthers have a lot of space. Interesting. Panthers acquire Brad Marchand from the Bruins. What? Marchand to Florida, man? That's crazy. Tom Gazzola says the Oilers are done for the day. No more moves for the Oilers. They did not get a top 6 winger, and they did not improve the goaltending, which we didn't expect them to go after a goalie. I'm wondering if the Oilers were trying to get in on Marchand and Florida just made a better offer. I agree, Dacky. I think that's what happened. Okay, so Tom Gazzola says the Oilers are done. There's nothing coming through for Edmonton past the deadline, so Ryan Rishaug has now also tweeted nothing late coming from Edmonton. So that means the Oilers finish this year's deadline acquiring Trent Frederick, Jake Wallman, and Max Jones. And they still needed a goalie and a top 6 winger. I can't imagine that this is going to go over well in oil country. I cannot imagine that this is going to go over well in oil country. They did not address the scoring issues on this team. They did not address the depth scoring, obviously. They did not get Leon Draisaitl a winger. But they got a good defenseman. That's crazy. If Marchand is in Florida, that's crazy. It's over, John. Ryan Rishaug and Tom Gazzola have both tweeted that the Oilers are done. What did I miss? The Oilers stand pat today. Pierre LeBrun says Brad Marchand is going to Florida. Brad Marchand is going to Florida. The Oilers, now, the thing with Edmonton, here is that they had too many players with no movement clauses. Jeff Skinner would not have waived unless it was to a cup contender. Victor Arvidsson would not have waived unless it was to, at minimum, a playoff contender. Jeff Jackson gave everybody no movement clauses. Adam Henrique has a no movement clause. So the players that the Oilers could have tried to move to free up cap space, they were in control of their own destinies. If they did not want to waive, the Oilers may have had deals. The Oilers may have had trades ready to go. The Oilers may have had trades that would have worked if their players had waived their no trade clauses, but they did not. Or I'm assuming they did not. I mean, Marchand still had been a very effective player. He still has the offense and being a pest on the ice. I think he would have worked really well with either McDavid or Draisaitl. That's crazy. Marchand to Florida, as an also Bruins fan, that's crazy. There's always next year. Now, obviously, I don't want to sound like I'm not happy about who the Oilers did get. I like Trent Frederick a lot. I like Jake Wallman a lot. Max Jones, if he plays like he did last night every single night, wow, we got a player there. We might have an underrated pickup. But considering the team's needs, a top six forward, because nobody is lighting it up. Nobody can score on that team. They really did need to get another goal scorer. They really did. And obviously the goaltending situation, we all know what the goaltending situation is in Edmonton. We've known what it's been for a long time, but we knew coming in that that was a pipe dream. That just wasn't going to happen. Everyone in the media said Edmonton was not going to get a goalie, and I can't be upset at that because the expectation was set. Wow. Hey, no worries. Thanks for tuning in. So Marchand to Florida. That's crazy. Crazy. Disappointed in Bowman. Everyone in the West loading up, and we sit back as usual. Bowman has done well with what he has been given. Jeff Jackson gave all these no move clauses to these forwards that aren't producing. I can't blame Bowman on this for not getting a scorer, because to move the cap out, they would have needed Skinner or Arvidsson to waive their no move clauses. And if they didn't waive them, that's on Jeff Jackson for giving them those deals. But this is crazy, man. Marchand to Florida. I was really hoping Edmonton could get in there and try and snag them, but I mean, Jeff Skinner just doesn't get the opportunity. I think, you know who's going to be the most mad? It's going to be Chris Knobloch. Chris Knobloch's going to be the most disappointed because now he might have to try and play Jeff Skinner in that top six for goal scoring. I guess not, Dacky. Guess no Alexiak train. Can we claim one of Detroit's goalies off waiver? I mean, I don't know how waivers works after the deadline. I don't think you can. Like, I don't know how that works. He wouldn't be able to play on the playoff roster, I think. But I can't remember how that works. Oh, Boston traded Brandon Carlo to Toronto too? What the hell is this? Why are the Bruins trading all their players to Atlantic Division rivals? What is this? Oh. Wow. Man, the Bruins just went nuts on selling. Yeah, Boston's fully in rebuild mode. Fully in rebuild mode. Nah, Brad Marchand's going to Florida. F them picks. We don't need no picks. Cup or bust right now. I agree. I mean, you should be able to hear me. McDavid's not signing in Toronto. I mean, I don't think that would happen either, Louis. I think they're going to try and build around Pasternak, but Frederick does not. He will be a free agent at the end of the season. But Wallman has term. Jake Wallman still has a year left after this year. Trades can still trickle in, but the Oilers are done. All the Oilers media guys have said that the Oilers are done. He'll sign with us. Leon Draisaitl signed with us. He will re-sign. He has a Cup final appearance. He has a Western Conference final appearance. Connor McDavid is not going to go anywhere. I'm not surprised. I would imagine the What Chaos guys are very upset about Marchand going to Florida. Imagine staying up for 24 hours doing a stream on YouTube just to find out that one of your favorite players on the Bruins is going to a division rival that you dislike heavily. That would be a kick to the nuts for me, personally. Yeah, it sounds like the Oilers are done. All right, so we have to hope that Jeff Skinner is given more opportunity. We have to hope that Matthew Savoy is given some opportunity. And we have to hope that the Oilers can find a way internally to start scoring a little bit more. Because I like their defensive core. I do. I really do like the Oilers D. I think the Oilers defensive core is great. Now, we'll see, Colby. We'll see. Tampa Bay has troubles against Florida. That's possible. He may win a cup in Florida and then just sign with Boston to retire. The Oilers are going to be a playoff team for sure. I also expected more. It's just unfortunate because there's only so much Bowman could do with the contracts that Jackson handed out that had no move clauses. I don't know what the Kings added. All right, and I'm also trying to contain my emotions as a Bruins fan as well, because they did trade my favorite player in Brad Marchand. Like, I know this is an Oilers fan stream, but I am a Bruins fan too, so I'm still trying to work through that. Dallas would be the contender in my opinion. That's true, Colby. Stan Bowman will address the media at 1:30 p.m. So in 15 minutes, Stan Bowman will address the media. Yeah, I'm very curious to see what goes forward. After the season, hopefully, Edmonton can go on a run here. But I look at some of those teams in the West, and I look at the Oilers, and I'm like, do they have the forward group that can compete? Can McDavid get to a level that he's been at in the past but hasn't hit this season? Can Draisaitl sustain his production? Can the Oilers forward group rally and start producing more? And can Stuart Skinner hold the fort? Big question marks in oil country. Of course, I will have a full video going over all of it after the live stream today. So that's true, Elliot. That's true. We had timely goal scoring against Dallas last year, and Stuart Skinner played great against the Stars. And we have to really hope that that happens again if we go up against them. I could do a reaction to the press conference whenever they do go live. Bowman has at least he's addressed some areas of concern. I think good deal for Winnipeg. I think Tanev is a good pickup for Winnipeg. How stacked is Dallas, Colorado, Florida, Tampa this year? Oh yeah, those are the top four. Like those are the teams to beat. Also, I appreciate everyone's support. Thank you. I agree, Dacky. So the deadline has passed, but trades can still trickle in. They trickle in late all the time. But while we wait for Stan Bowman's media availability, I will be right back. I'm just quickly grabbing a bite to eat. I just need something in my system. But in case Bowman does show up before I get back, I will just leave this on here for you. So I will be right back. All right. How are we doing? I don't think anything else came down the pipeline while I was gone. Hey. I'm disappointed in the Bruins trading Marchand to Florida. Not, I mean, obviously I wanted him in Edmonton, but that's a team that I wish Marchand would not have been traded to. No, it's over, Owen. The Oilers are done. Stan Bowman will be speaking to the media in 4 minutes. And we will live react to what he has to say because I am curious to hear what Bowman has to say. No, Nelson went to Colorado last night. I hope so. I hope Jeff Jackson was traded for someone that doesn't just give out no move clauses like they're candy. That would be nice. Sucks. I can't really blame Bowman here. Players had no move clauses. The players that Edmonton were likely trying to move had the no move clauses that Jackson gave them. And that we didn't even know they had until this week. Adam Henrique and Victor Arvidsson. Nobody knew. Even Puckpedia didn't know. I don't think Stamkos is what Edmonton needs. Okay. Technically he is. He's a scoring winger, but I think Stamkos is he's way past his prime, is what I should say. Probably to keep the dollar value down, Henrik. The deadline has passed, yes, but Stan Bowman is going to speak to the media about, what he did and Ottawa got Zetterlund from San Jose? Interesting. I think Hyman's the better fit, Owen, other than, instead of Stamkos, but that's just me. Oh, that's exactly what he's going to say, Dacky. We all know Bowman's going to come out and be like, we had lots of, we had lots of embers burning, but just couldn't strike the fire. We couldn't get a fire going. Yeah, Zetterlund was very good on San Jose. That's a good pickup for Ottawa. That's true, Amy. Yeah, I'm not disappointed in the goalie market because that expectation has been set for a few days now. Everyone in oil country was reporting that Edmonton was not going to get a goalie. The Oilers were in the market for a top 6 scoring winger. Sounds like they were in on Rantanen, couldn't get a deal. They were probably in on Marchand, but who's going to beat Florida? Maybe Dallas, Colorado, Tampa, maybe. Now, if Arvidsson can find his game, and if Evander Kane is healthy enough to play in the playoffs, we're not in a horrible position. But We've had a long stretch of the season where Arvidsson has not found his game. I hope that didn't blow up everyone's ears. Will I get copyright struck with Oilers Plus coverage? Oh, I don't know. I might not be able to. Because, like, it's on Oilers Plus, right? Like, that's... Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I can actually show the press conference. I mean, you'd think so. I might not be able to. Okay, so I'm going to mute it, and I will have it on another stream. I won't actually show it, but I will let you guys know what he's saying. I will let you know what he's saying. I'm just going to finish my ramen. I don't know if I want to take that risk. Don't know if I want to take that risk, unfortunately. In years past, if this was not, because Oilers Plus is like a paywall, right? Like you have to pay monthly for it. In years past, they used to just do the press conferences live on like their website, not on Oilers Plus. But now that it's on Oilers Plus, I think there's a fine line where I may get copyright strike or struck. Yo, what's up, Oilers guy? Whoa, Berserker Earl with a $50 super chat. The best in Edmonton Oilers media space. Please don't quit what you do. Berserker Earl, thank you so much. Oh my God, that's crazy. I was just spat food everywhere. Thank you. Jeez, I don't even know what to say. That's so nice. Thank you so much, Berserker Earl. You've been around for a long time too, so I truly appreciate that. Thank you. And I do my best. Some days I'm unhinged and crazy, but I do my best. No, don't do that. Oh, I do have to gift more subs. 5 more gifted subs. Giving back to the community here. 5 more gifted. 5 more gifted. I owe the fans. Everett gets one. Tobias gets one. There you go, Tobias. Eric, Elliot, and Larissa. Congrats if you got a gifted sub. It's just randomized. I just click gift 5 subs, and that's that. I lost the gamble. Yo, what's up, French Bellow? They're all bots. And Berserker also getting a membership. Thank you so much, Berserker. You did not have to do that at all, considering you just sent $50 through Super Chat. So thank you all so much. Your support means the world. We're just waiting for Stan Bowman to get up to the podium and talk, and I will kind of let you guys know what he's saying. Came from TikTok. Welcome in, Pickle Boy. I forgot I was streaming on TikTok. For anyone on TikTok right now, hello. I don't have TikTok chat. I only look at the YouTube chat. I'm sorry. First time catching you live. I have to say I enjoy your day after discussions, win or loss. It's always an interesting listen, even as an outsider. Great analytics. Hey, I appreciate that. Excessum. Thank you. Money well spent, folks. We didn't do anything. Nope. Yeah, I'm not happy about Marchand being a Panther. And Twitch. Although I don't think I'm live on Twitch right now. I think I forgot to go live on Twitch today. How much does YouTube take from the money that's donated to you? I don't actually remember. I can't remember what the number is. I think it's 30. I could be wrong. Like 30%. But again, I could be, I don't actually remember. I'm not sure, Vince. So like technically, yeah, like they can't make a trade now, but trades that have been completed that just have to go through the trade call. As long as teams got their trade calls into the NHL head office before 1 p.m. Mountain, we could still see deals coming out. Leafs are giving up a first prospect, and there are multiple trades involved here. Complicated deals going on. So there's still gonna be lots of trades coming in. Yeah, YouTube, yeah. I don't even entertain that. Not even going to entertain a McDavid trade ever. It'll never happen. Any trade predictions? No. I don't know what else Toronto was doing. It sounds like Toronto was very aggressive. All we can do as fans is just hope that Skinner can hold the fort. I did hear, I don't know if it's true, but we did hear that. But the fact that, we're still hoping, like we're in year 10 of McDavid, and the fact that we have to hope that Stuart Skinner can play at a high level to win a Stanley Cup, that sucks. I would like to have the guarantee, the safety net, if you will. I would have liked Carlo and Edmonton. All those, I never saw Janmark in any rumors, but I am in kind of my own little bubble most days. There's a lot of question marks, especially with Evander Kane as well. What was the return on Marchand? Not sure yet. Hasn't been announced, at least that I've seen. Twitter won't let me retweet something. That's fun. I'm cool with it. If Vegas is gonna do this stuff, I'm happy Edmonton is doing this stuff. I'm not sure. I don't want to speculate on who may or may not have asked for a trade. So I was just reading stuff on my other monitor there. Do you wonder if a more solid D in front of Skinner would raise him up to last year's level, or if a new direction on goalies are needed? I guess we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out in the next couple months here if Skinner and Pickard can be the guys, and I hope they are. I agree. I kind of hope the Oilers do not win the division, because if Colorado remains a wild card team all year, I don't want to win the division. Imagine going up in Colorado get in round one. Oh, thanks. I wouldn't say they purposely do, but clearly there's like issues with consistency in front of them. They can still win a cup this year. They can. I just think some teams loaded up so much where, the Oilers in a head to head against Florida. Like, if there's a Stanley Cup final rematch, who do you take? Do you take Florida or Edmonton right now? Florida adding Seth Jones, Brad Marchand. Well, I mean, assuming that they would be healthy, because Marchand and Kachuk will be healthy for the playoffs, supposedly. Do you take us over Vegas in a best of? Yes, I actually do. I think Edmonton's better than Vegas. Unless something crazy comes down the pipe that Vegas added someone incredible. I don't know. The Kings struggle with scoring more than the Oilers do. I think Edmonton can take LA. I have Edmonton beating anyone and everyone. I love that. Well, hopefully we don't play the Jets in the playoffs. Hopefully Winnipeg is a first round exit. Hopefully Connor Hellebuck collapses in the playoffs again. It's very dacky. Otherwise, coin flip on goaltending. I don't know. I feel good about the Oilers game against Dallas tomorrow. I think Edmonton beats Dallas tomorrow. Hey, no worries, Everett. No worries. Oh, what did the Oilers? All right, there's an update. There is an Oilers update here on Evander Kane. There's an Oilers update on Evander Kane. The Edmonton Oilers have released the following statement regarding Evander Kane. After further consultation with team medical staff, it has been determined that forward Evander Kane will not be ready to return to action for the remainder of the 2024-25 regular season. As a result, he will remain on LTIR. Kane underwent successful abdominal surgery last September. His rehab continues to take place in Edmonton under the supervision of the club's medical staff. The 33-year-old scored 24 goals and 20 assists in 77 regular season games last year, and he had 4 goals, 4 assists in 20 games in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So, Evander Kane will remain on LTIR the rest of the season. Yo, what's up, Emperor King? As an Oilers fan in Winnipeg, I'd have to go to a game. That'd be amazing. The atmosphere in Winnipeg is crazy. I couldn't even imagine. Cap left unused. Arvidsson not traded. Very poor trade grade for Bowman. Yeah, well, they're not accruing space, so they only had $300,000 in cap space. Happy with Zetterlund going to Ottawa. Yeah, no, that's a good pickup for Ottawa there. Zetterlund's a very good player. When is the next game? Tomorrow. The Oilers play Dallas tomorrow at 8 p.m. on Hockey Night in Canada. I will have the pregame report up and ready for all of you, either later tonight for members, and then, of course, in the morning for everyone else. Buffalo, New York. Wait, what? Whiteout here gets nuts and they close down streets in downtown for people. Yeah, it's crazy what they do in Winnipeg, hey? No, we didn't have the $5 million free because we acquired Wallman, and that was like, we acquired Wallman, Frederick, and Jones, so that kind of took up most of the LTIR space. I wonder if Kane told the Oilers after the deadline. I don't think so. I think they've known. I think they knew that he wouldn't come back. Well, the trade deadline has passed, and the Oilers are done. They did not make any other moves other than what they have already done, which you can see below me here on the screen. Happy the Leafs get Carlo, big D, and hard to play against. Yeah, no, that's a great pickup for Toronto. I still don't know what they gave up for him. Hey, Austin, I enjoy your videos from a Rangers fan. Yo, Blue Shirts Nation, what's going on? I appreciate that. Thank you very much. What did you think about the Rangers today? Did they do enough? Not enough? What are you thinking? Yes, they are, Chemo. Arvidsson and Skinner were not moved today. They gave up Minton and a first to Boston, also send Timmins and Dewar to Pittsburgh. Oh, interesting. Who did they get from Pittsburgh? I haven't seen that come through. I think the tax thing is I think that's a overstated thing. I don't think taxes play that much of a role in where players go, but it does play a role. I agree. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for Jeff Skinner as long as Chris Knobloch utilizes him in a role that he can be successful in. Fourth line Jeff Skinner doesn't work for me. Now I can start a new NHL 25 season now that all the rosters are set. I love that. Low key, what the hell was Vancouver doing this year? Same with Buffalo. What the hell was Buffalo doing this year? They're confusing to me. Eric Johnson for Giovanni Smith. Johnson to where? Where was Giovanni Smith coming from? Was that Colorado? Tariffs on trades across the border. We do have a lot of options for our forward group. I agree. It's just, will Chris Knobloch utilize them in a way that will be beneficial? Okay, so Johnson is going to the Avs then. Okay. Little reunion there. Erik Johnson going back to the Avs. Won a cup there in 2022. Yeah, Florida going nuts. Kyle Dubas loves his old Marlies. Kyle Dubas loves his Marlies and former Leafs. All right, we got Stan Bowman up at the podium here. He's getting set to speak, so I will try and relay kind of what's going on. So Bowman was asked about goaltending. You know what? I'm going to play the audio for you guys.
Over like the bigger sample, and I think so. If you break it up, we had a slow start.
I'll play the audio. I think the audio will be fine. We can react to the audio.
Didn't get out of the gate strong, and then from November until probably the end of January, I thought our goaltending was really solid. I thought it was, and ever since then, it hasn't been as good. So understandable. But I do think that, last night's a pretty good reference point. I think that's what we can see. I thought Stu made a lot of saves for us. And, it's an important position, absolutely. We're trying to not put so much pressure on them so that they have to save games for us. And I think we did a good job of that as a team for those stretch of months when our goaltending performed well. I think our team did a good job. I think our team game has escaped us a bit over the last probably
He's not wrong.
6 weeks, and as a result, it puts more pressure on your goalies. So I'd like to see both things have a little bit of an uptick, the goalies' performance, both goalies as well as our team, and not putting them in the position to have to save games for us. So, I guess that's my quick assessment on where we're at with the goalies.
Moving salary out in this league is a difficult thing to do. Can you kind of talk about the added difficulty of trying to do that with the various no movement clauses throughout the roster?
Yeah, I guess that's true that it can be challenging to move money in today's game. We have a lot of players that really haven't been as consistent as we'd like. So
that's an understatement.
I guess when you look at the performance of our team, then questions start being asked as far as should you move that player, should you not move that player. I don't know if that was as much of a factor as just our overall team performance wasn't that strong. So I think sometimes more gets made of that than is needed as far as their trade protections. That wasn't a huge factor this week for us.
It was a deadline day where there were a lot of splashes. There were some big names bouncing around. Some came out west here. I wonder what your approach was, Stan. Did you take some big swings at potential splashes, or did you feel like the more conservative approach was the way you were going to have to go?
We talked about a lot of
things. So that's Rashog's question.
A number of things even today that just didn't really get all the way to the finish line. But I would say that's probably the norm around the league. If you knew everything that might have happened, you'd be surprised. But when you add it all up, we didn't make any additional moves other than the ones that have been announced. There was no added moves today. So not for lack of trying. I think.
Not for lack of trying. We called it
Dacky.
Dacky.
Trying to balance a couple things with
Dacky called
this
it.
time of year. My experience tells you that sometimes you need to improve areas of your team that have shown over 60 games aren't strong enough. Other times you can upset the mixture you have if you bring in 7 or 8 new players. I've done that before, and I found you only have 20 games left. So if you have to incorporate a lot of new players, it can be challenging. So I think we struck the right balance this year as far as the number of new players and where they play. In particular,
it's a weird one.
I think Wallman's a really big upgrade for our group. He's somebody that we've talked about going back to the middle of the year as a big target. And
he did. Max Jones did play good.
Mike Greer's probably tired of talking to me about him because I've been told a long time that he wouldn't trade him. Not going to trade him. He's got another year. I don't have to trade him. We just kind of stuck with it. And then the other day when we pitched it to him, I think we got his attention, and we eventually got it, to where he came in. So I think that's a big piece.
Kane's out the rest of the season.
And then, we talked about the desire for our team to have a bit of a different look. I think if you looked at our team as it was before this week, we have a lot of players that are similar up front. They're kind of different versions of the same player. They have different attributes, but for the most part, they're not like Frederick or Jones. Those guys have
True. He's right.
Much different skill set, and I think it's something that we've been lacking. And as a result, it was an important piece for us to address that. And so we're looking back now on the moves we made, and I'm really excited. I think our staff did a great job. I got to commend them. Put in a lot of long hours with different ideas to get us to where we are today, and I think we're looking really good.
We've seen Chris Knobloch audition numerous players next to Leon Draisaitl on that second line, Arvidsson, Skinner, Podkolzin, and there've been a kind of a revolving door there. What is your analysis of what's available there to you? And when you look at what you've got on your roster here, do you feel like there's something there that still has a chance to stick?
Yeah, it's funny because I do get this question a fair amount too about, Leon's probably the MVP of the league this year, right? And he's going to lead the league in goals, and he's pretty close in points. So, he seems to do it with whoever he plays with. So I think that's a testament to the season that he's having, that he's not relying on just one line mate. He's had a number of different
Bowman jinxed it. No.
Right? So who's it going to be going forward? I'm not quite sure yet. I think that we have different options, and I think that's something that's going to, I guess, unfold over the coming 20 games. You're right. I think Podkolzin and Arvidsson have probably spent the most time with him, if you look at the numbers. And maybe that's the way it'll be. And if not, we have some other guys that might get a look there too. We have a few new players. I think when Frederick gets in the lineup, we've got to decide if we're going to use him at center or on the wing. Because I think if we're going to play him on the wing, he could play on the top 2 lines, or if we're going to use him in the middle, he's probably on the 3rd line.
Frederick on the second line would be good.
That's a couple weeks away.
He's played with skilled players before.
And then Jones had a really good night last night, I thought. Where will he?
Soucy's a good pickup. I don't know if he's going to score a lot of goals.
Either, but even Kapanen's played a bit with Leon.
I'm mixed, Dave. Mixed feelings.
Center the last stretch too. So I think that we do have a lot of options. Now it's for the coaches to figure out which ones are going to lead us to the most success as a team.
And sorry, Matty, just real quick, is that something that you looked at addressing today? Like, did you nibble around trying to find someone for that spot potentially?
I don't know if it was just a spot for Leon per se. We were looking, we were looking at, can we bring anyone else in that would complement this group? And we tried, but it just wasn't a fit.
Yeah.
Hey, Stan.
I would say that, Tyler.
Just want to ask you
absolutely.
about the West was always going to be hard to get out of, and then you saw what happened in the Central with Brandon coming in here. And just a thought on that, on the arms race, maybe in the Central Division, the fact that it almost makes trying to win the division even more important than having to go through.
Yeah, the Bruins are blowing it up.
Yeah, I mean, my experience is no matter where you are in the top 8, you're going to play a good team in the first round. It's just the way it is. If you win the division, the wild card team is going to be a really strong team. So
Leon's back is starting. Yeah, he's carrying the team.
About it, some teams improved quite a bit.
That's true, Captain Peanut.
At least on paper. Now the question is, how does it all come together?
Yeah, goaltender question was asked.
They already have. Yeah. Time will tell. I mean,
he thinks
not every team that
Skinner's
looks great
the guy
now, if we talk in 2 months, is going to look great. Like sometimes things just don't work. So that's why we play the games. I think if you try to worry about your opponents too much, then you lose sight of what matters. And we've got to do what we do well. And if we play our game well and we play it to the best of our ability, we're a really strong team. And I think we're a stronger team than we were for that stretch when we were one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the league. So I think we need to get the group that we had here playing back to that level. And then when you add in these new pieces and the
Habs played good against Edmonton.
I'm very hopeful and optimistic with the group.
And we all saw the statement on Kane. I was just
wrong, Clint. Wrong.
To get back, or will he be able to play with you in the playoffs? And what kind of player do you expect to get? If he
I don't know which reporter that is. Just their voice crack.
Well, I think a healthy Evander Kane is such a. I'm trying to think of how many guys are like him in the league. There's probably a handful that can play like him with his size, his scoring ability, his intensity, his physicality, intimidation. Pretty small list of guys when he's back healthy, playing at that level.
Yeah, that's realistic, Captain Peanut, about Binnington.
We want to get him there, and I think the biggest thing is when he's able to play at that level, and he's fully healed, he's ready. So I do expect him to be back at some point. We don't exactly know when that will be. It's not going to be in the regular season. Will it be at the start of the playoffs? I don't know. I think if we can play long enough, he will definitely be back playing for us this year. So, he's got a lot of elements.
Might have been. Might have been nervous. I would have been nervous.
So I think that's another attribute that we liked with
Reeves cleared
Frederick
waivers.
Jones is when you look with Evander, with Max Jones and Trent Frederick, those 3 players. That's a handful to handle in a playoff series, and I expect and I hope them to all be there making a difference.
Stan, you got a left shot defenseman in Wallman. Were you looking at a right shot defenseman?
Jim Matheson.
Wallman's a puck mover. Were you looking at somebody who's bigger and has some snarl to play in the top 6?
We're looking for good players, first and foremost. He's
I like that answer.
Defenseman on their
looking
team,
for good players.
Year,
who cares about snarl?
The way he's performed, to be able to perform at that level on a team that's had a.
I think he will, Captain Peanut. Max Jones is a good fit there.
A bit for that team this year. I think it shows you how well he's played. So I love his skill set. I think he's got. He's a big guy.
Rough, Fatal Reaper. That's rough.
Not super tall.
Thank you for your support.
He's 6'1", almost 220 pounds. So he's strong and he can skate, makes plays, very competitive. He doesn't play a passive game. He's involved in the game. I think our forwards are going to enjoy playing with him, whether he's a left or a right. I think sometimes gets overblown a little bit. I mean, Kulak's played a lot on the right.
More cowbell. We'll see, Jay. We'll see.
Had his best year. He's been fantastic for us. So whether Wallman plays on the right or whether Kulak does, I think those are options for the coaches. But I think Jake's going to be a big part of this. So I think to add someone like that, he's a young guy still. He's got more years ahead of him on his contract. So, I think it's going to be a big upgrade for the D.
You mentioned about your team can play better. You had a stretch there where they played better. A lot of your forwards have not lived up to last year's standards. Can they just flip the switch and suddenly be playing like they did last year?
It's got to be
I don't
by
know
committee.
about flipping the switch. I think it's probably more of a process than it is flipping the switch. But
I don't know,
I
Dacky.
remember
We'll
sitting in
see.
this room when I first started, and I remember saying to the group that the way that sports work is that I think everyone's expectations are everyone. Is
I think
gonna pick
Winnipeg's
up
a
where they
first-round
left off
exit.
and be just as good or better the next year.
Winnipeg's carried by
And I said,
goaltending
although
and power
I
play.
hope that's the case. I know it probably won't be, and so we have
Just my opinion,
seen
though.
some players they haven't played as well as they did last year. That's a bit the nature of sports, though, and excuse me. I think the fact that it's not a straight line all the time. That
I'm
whether
surprised
it's
as well,
our special teams
Lucas.
have been good at times, and I think we've got to find a way, and each player individually has to dig down and find out what is it about their game that was better last year and how can they be better. Sometimes it's just their own individual performance. Sometimes it's who they're with and the way the team is playing. So I don't think it's a matter of flipping a switch. If only it was that easy. I think it's probably a little more.
Who's your team
nuanced than
brutality?
that, and it requires those players. All they can do is take it upon themselves to be the best version of themselves. And
No,
there's certainly
Dave.
room for growth.
Bias
for a lot of
aside,
our players.
the Oilers
Last
should
year we
not
got
lose in the
Lots of
first
players.
round,
We got 24 players now. Is there any
assuming
thought
they
that
play
it's
LA.
going to be less than that? I know you're still under the cap, but that's a lot of players, 8 defensemen and extra forwards.
Nobody's asked him that, Clint.
I don't know how you do it any other way. I mean, I don't think this is the time of year where you've only got 4 recalls after the trade deadline, so it's not like you can be bringing a lot of guys up and down. The system is sort of designed to be this way. The roster opens up as of the deadline, so I think every team's probably got 14 or 15 forwards and 8 defensemen. I mean, if you don't, then where are you going to get your players from? So I think it's a competition now. I think it's good to have players looking around to realize that if I'm not on my game, someone's going to take my spot. Maybe that was different earlier in the year when you have a smaller group, but I think now bring your best every night, and if not, then you're probably going to find yourself out of the lineup.
Stan, just over here.
Yeah, LA got
I know
Kuzmenko.
you guys just put out the statement about Vander Kane. You've been talking about him, but can you say when exactly you came to the conclusion or the determination that he would be out for the remainder of the regular season? And can you describe just how much this has kind of factored into your decisions this year and how difficult it's been to kind of gauge his uncertainty?
Yeah, it's been hard for sure. Very recently, we finally, the goal all along was to try to give as much time as we could for our doctors and our staff to assess his readiness to return. Because some of the complicating factors with Evander is it's not like he has a broken bone where it's pretty obvious. You take an X-ray and you say, okay, it's healed or it's not healed, and the return to play is a little bit more concrete. This situation is different. He had very involved double surgery. And then he had the knee procedure in January, which was really a non, it wasn't like an injury per se. It was just something he had to get cleaned up. But it did set back sort of his training. Because when you go
Canucks have imploded.
through a big surgery
Yikes.
like Evander did, there's a couple of phases to it. There's just, getting back to doing, regular things. And then you could progress that into start to heal and then train, and then now he's beyond all that. Like, he's doing well, but now you got to get into the performance side of it, where you've got to really ramp yourself up to be ready to play in an NHL game where the intensity is super high. So
I don't know about
there's
Pionk.
certain milestones.
I'm not sure.
Now that we know where we are and how much time is left, he's not going to be able to close that gap.
Yeah, I agree, Lucas.
So it's still not exactly known. It's not like we
But
know
we'll
he's
see.
going to be ready by this date. We just know he's not going to be ready by the end of the regular season, which is why it became clear that we had to, look at improving our team a different way, because he's not going to be coming back in that time period.
You've been working on kind of the 2 tracks all year, right? And
Right.
when was the determination made that you could work with his money? Like, when did you-
Yeah, just the last day. I mean, really, we made that decision, and And that's why, fortunately, these trades that we were discussing didn't have to be executed last week, because if so, then we wouldn't have been able to. But, some trades were made before, but we wouldn't have been able to do that because we didn't have the information. We waited as long as we could.
He didn't know that Kane wouldn't be available until literally like yesterday.
Just one quick one on Tread Frederick. Do you have any idea when he can play? When are you expecting him to make his Oilers debut?
No, and we haven't talked about Trent a bit. I do want to talk about him because I think his game is going to translate really well to this, to our team and to the fans here. I think they're going to love watching Freddie play. I've only met him once, and he's got a great personality. He seems to love life. He's one of those guys that's upbeat, optimistic, fun to be around. And when the game starts, he plays to win. He's a very competitive guy. And
against Calgary, that natural hat trick. That was fun.
He's a lot to handle on the ice. He's a big guy, and he can score too. He can play center. So he's got that flexibility to play in the middle or play up the lineup on the wing. I think timing-wise, it's a couple weeks. I don't really know for sure. He's going to play certainly before April. I just don't know when that will be.
Stan, you make a couple trades leading up to deadline day today, but when you get here this morning, you got about $300,000 in cap space. You have a fair amount of no move and no trade clauses.
Oh yeah, no brutality. Colorado did great.
Our situation. Did you find, obviously you would need other teams to take your money to make a deal happen. Did you find that you were just maybe too encumbered today to get done what you wanted to do?
No, I think with the cap, there's always ways of, having teams retain, like we did in Frederick's deal. We had him cut in half twice. So those are always options. I don't know if it's just trying to find the match of the player and how he's the right player with the right term left that matches up with what you have to offer that team. And some teams aren't looking for prospects. Some teams want a player back. And we're not really in that mode of having a roster player to be. We're trying to add to our group, not really do lateral trades. So some teams we weren't a match for just because our group didn't line up with their group. We were in on a few things with players that ended up going to other teams, and we couldn't have made that trade because they had a player that was expendable that we didn't. So it's always a match of, do you have what the other team is
Frederick will play
for,
before the playoffs.
and then are you willing to pay the price?
Which I'm excited about.
There's a couple different reasons deals don't happen. So I don't think we were, handicapped by that. I mean, it's just a challenge. Sure, we didn't have an unlimited budget, but at the same time, I was cognizant of not trying to bring in too many new players. Like, I think that is a fair question, is how many bodies are too many to try to integrate with your group. I
don't disagree with Bowman there. Sometimes too many players will mess things up.
Spend too much time just trying out all kinds of new combinations. You're trying to win games, and you're trying to prepare yourself for the playoffs.
Along those lines, big picture strategy. There are those who would say, you're in this window. You have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl on their, their previous deals here, that you got to be all in every year while you have these guys. What would you say to those who would, ask that question? Did you push enough chips in considering the window you have with these guys? And what's your philosophy about that versus keeping something in the cupboards for the future?
Yeah, I think we're all in to try to win right now. I mean,
it's about the locker room dynamic, Jay, I think is what he's alluding to. The locker room dynamic. Our players going to fit personality-wise with the room.
It's tough on the amateur scouts, but I understand that. That's the price of.
You can agree or not. That's how I see it.
To their group. So there was no hesitation to trade first-round picks or prospects. That wasn't the. You're not just going to carelessly trade them away, but that was. I think that was a big part of the reason we got Wallman, was we stepped up and gave him a first-rounder. And I don't know if they had that from other teams, but I think that's what ultimately got it done for us, is we didn't mess around and try to get too cute with it. We saw a player we valued, and we went out and got him. So first-round picks are valuable, but players are even more valuable for where we are. So we were aggressive on that front.
Do you view your strategy this year to have been fairly aggressive?
Yes, definitely. Yep.
Stan,
Well,
on a day
he
like
was
this,
aggressive.
How focused are you on your targets and not paying attention to what else is going on, or does stuff that happens in your conference, does that weigh at all into influencing you guys to try and do something?
These are the cup
I think
favorites,
you're more
by the way.
focused on making your team as good as it can be, rather than just trying
According to Dom
react to what
from
other
The
teams
Athletic.
do. Because at the end of the day, there's different ways to win, and you have certain strengths as a team already, and you're trying to either accentuate those strengths, or you're trying to figure out the areas where you're weak and to try to fortify that. So of course you notice what other teams are doing, but I don't think you can try to react and make moves just to make moves because another team did. Whenever you're playing a team in a playoff series, first and foremost, you have to be playing great yourself. And if you're playing great and you're not winning, then you maybe need to be super focused on how to beat your opponent. But
Washington
you're not going to beat these
will probably
teams
be
in
a
the playoffs
first-round
if
exit.
You're not playing well. So it's really
Washington's on a PDO heater,
We've got some
unsustainable.
amazing players here, and we've got to do what we can to make sure that everyone around them is at the top of their game, and because then when you add that all up, we're going to be a tough team to beat.
Clearly, from where he was in the playoffs last year to the way this year has gone for him, there's been a step back. What are you seeing? Are there conversations to be had there, and how confident are you he'll find that level again?
Yeah, I mean, Bush seems to get a lot of talk about him. I think partially it's a sign of how good he is, because he's got 11 goals, and you'd think he hasn't scored this year. He got the winning goal last night in overtime. Like I guess the bar is high for him.
If the Oilers were on a crazy PDO heater with unsustainable metrics, yes, I would, Ahmed.
Struggle in a game or has a play that doesn't work out, it gets highlighted, and I get it. That's the way it works. But I think he hasn't been on the top of his game. I think that's fair to say. But he's still a really good player. He does a lot of good things for us. I mean, you try not to look at the things that maybe stick out in your mind, but just look at sort of his underlying performance for this season. And if you do that, he's got tremendous performance this year. He does a lot of things really well. Yeah, he can play better, and we want him to, and I know he wants to, but he's still playing pretty good.
Yeah, I agree with Bowman.
I think that
Bouchard has brain farts, but Bouchard is a terrific D-man.
Like I said, I think for the amount of talk there is, you'd think he was just scored his first goal last night, but he's doing pretty good.
Stan, sorry to go back a little bit here, but I know when you didn't match the two offer sheets in August that you did, part of the reason for that was you wanted to have some flexibility going forward here. Do you feel like you maximized that flexibility in the last few days here?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, well, I think all you can really do is deal with the information you have at the time. So at the time, Evander was not going to have this setback and would have been a different decision if you knew that he wasn't going to play this year, right? But so that it's a little bit of rewriting history. So I think given where we are and the players that we've added, through that whole process.
So Bowman implying that because they didn't know Evander Kane's status, they couldn't match the offer sheets.
And I would say they've certainly exceeded my expectations for how they're going to incorporate into our group. They're two young guys. We are an older team, so to have them come in and look like they're going to be parts of our future, I think is a positive thing. So, and in particular, the most recent couple moves we made, I think, we got guys that aren't older. I mean, they're not like 2021, but they're on the younger side of additions to a team at the deadline, and I think that's going to bode well for us.
So you talked about not hesitating, giving up on first rounders, but what's the asset management going to look like come 2027?
2027, that's 2 years from now.
That's a tough one to predict, 2 years out. I think there's a lot that changes over a 6-month period or a year. 2 years out, we certainly have our staff whose part of their job is to be looking 2 and 3 years down the road. And I love that about the group we have here on the analytics side, on the scouting side. They're spending their time really giving me options and different scenarios that we might have to look into down the road. So you're you're constantly balancing the present with the future. So I don't want to give the impression that the future doesn't matter, but I think if you're trying to decide between the two, we're clearly not a team that's looking to build and be better like 3 years from now relative to now. I think now the present is what matters with this group, and I think there's a lot of ways to maintain that, though, over time. If we do our job in our scouting and our player development side and our analytics, even though we don't have as many assets as some of these other teams.
We'll see, Whiskey. I think Edmonton still beats LA in a 7-game series.
Be a team that can maintain that level for years to come.
I don't know if Sam O'Reilly projects to be that, but that would be nice.
You wanted to hold on to?
Yeah, I think they've both had tremendous seasons. I mean, we'll talk a little bit about Matt because he was up here and he played some games for us. Really impressed with his progression from training camp to
I agree, Zach.
Where he was a week ago. And just to see his growth as a player, I think the whole idea of sending him down to Bakersfield early was to give him minutes and give him a role that he was not going to have in Edmonton. He wouldn't play 20 minutes a game up here, so he wouldn't have the opportunity to grow as a player. And I think what he needed, he was a great player last year in junior. He scored a ton, played a ton. And then when you step up to be a pro, you still need to play a lot if you want to grow as a player. But it's
No, I think the Oilers come out on top in 7. Ahmed.
You're playing against people in their 30s.
That'd be nice, Lucas.
It's a strength issue.
I don't know why Vegas did that.
He embraced being in Bakersfield. Like he never complained. He wasn't sour about being there. He really embraced the penalty kill role, which I think was important to, looking at our team here. Matt's always been a power play player. He's probably not going to be on our power play, certainly not right now, even if he's here. So how can he contribute? Well, that's why we had him being on the penalty kill there, and he was great at it. He didn't have a lot of experience at that before, but he's blocking shots. He's out there late in games to protect the lead. So his game really grew, and he's a much better player. So I think he's a
That's true, Jay. I mean, eventually they will.
For many years. I love his attitude, and I think he's just going to keep improving. And Sam is obviously still in junior, but
I think defensively, Edmonton's better than last year. It's the goaltending and forwards. Question mark
with Sam. Really impressed with his ability to impact the game in a couple different ways. Like he's not just an offensive player. I mean, he's got good numbers, but he doesn't even get that many offensive looks. He's on a really good team there, so he probably doesn't get featured as much as he would. But sort of the other aspects of his game have really grown too. So very encouraging to see where he is after just 1 year of development, and I'm excited to keep working with him.
One last thing for me. Did you take a swing at Rantanen or Marchand?
He won't say.
I get that question.
He won't say. He can't.
We took a swing at a lot of things. I don't want to comment specifically on those players, but I'll say that we were aggressive trying to make things happen, but obviously none of those did. Thank you.
All right. That is it from Stan Bowman. All right. What do we think, folks? What do we think? Did Bowman do enough? Left some money on the table. Sounds like. So what I'm gathering from Stan Bowman's conference is that he was aggressive. I think he really was trying to add a Marchand, a Rantanen, like a game breaker in the top 6 for a forward group. I do think he was trying to add there. Definitely wasn't trying to get a goalie, and we will judge that decision after the playoffs. We will judge the goaltending decision after the playoffs. I will hold my thoughts on that until we know if Stu can be the guy. Stu Skinner, always behind me in every single video. I support Stu. As a fan, I'm going to remain positive about Stu Skinner and hope that he's the guy. But we are in year 10 of McDavid. We've been hoping for a long time. And sometimes hope at this stage, you want to know for sure. So we will see. We will see. I do find it interesting, though, that Stan Bowman said he did not know if they would have Evander Kane on LTIR until the playoffs, until yesterday. That's an interesting one to me. So let's see if the team rallies around Stu. Let's see if the team can find a way to play better defensively as a team. Let's see if the forwards can find a way to score some goals here. Because Edmonton's depth scoring worries me, especially in that bottom six. Matthias Janmark, Connor Brown, Adam Henrique. We just have to hope that they can all turn it up. And I think, let's talk about who the Oilers did get. Right? They got Trent Frederic, great addition. I watched the Bruins just as much as I watched the Oilers. I never miss Bruins games. Frederic is a great addition. He's someone that will help that bottom six with putting the puck in the net. He can play up and down the lineup. He can play center if you need him to. Not a great centerman, but he can. And he's nasty. Trent Frederic is like the Joker on ice to me. He laughs when he gets punched in the face. He's scary. The Oilers need something like that. Jake Wallman is a terrific defenseman. I think Jake Wallman makes our defensive... Like, the Oilers' defensive core now is the best it's been in the McDavid era. Yeah, Janmark didn't even get a shot on that breakaway. That was horrible. But I do think Trent Frederic likely slots in the third line. Evander Kane, if he's healthy enough to play in game one of the playoffs, they will probably play him with McDavid. I would imagine that's how you have to play him, because I don't think him and Leon work well together. But I don't know. I will have a full video breaking down what the Oilers did, what they may not have done, and we'll have a full analysis. We'll have an idea of the depth chart. I will have a depth chart, and we'll discuss potential lineup combinations in a video probably later today. But for now, that is it from me. We are going to call it here. Everyone that's tuned in, if you hit that like button before you head out, that would be stupendous. That goes a long way in supporting the channel. I'm going to work on the trade deadline review video. I'll try and have that up tonight. And then tomorrow morning, we will have the pregame report up before the Oilers and Dallas Stars face each other. Dallas, of course, picking up Mikko Rantanen. Don't know if he'll be in the lineup. If he is, that's going to be a tough game for Edmonton, because Dallas loaded up, Colorado loaded up. Some teams really loaded up here. And the Western Conference is pretty stacked right now. So thank you all for tuning in. Thanks for the live stream, man. And like everyone chatting and all of your questions and ideas and comments. I appreciate it. We had a really good turnout today. So that was amazing. You're all incredible. Thank you. Sending all my love out. We do have a Discord server if you ever do want to join. The link for the Discord should be in the description of this video. Hopefully the link still works. But we'll see you soon. Take care. Keep a lookout for my Oilers trade deadline review video later today. And lots to talk about. Lots to talk about, folks. You're all the best. Take care. Subscribe as well if you have not subscribed. Tell someone that you love them. And as always, fight like a kid. Fight like Ben. We always wear our... where is my... What the heck? There it is. It was on. Fight like a kid. The wristband was still on. I just couldn't find it. It was slid all the way down my arm. All right, we'll see you soon, folks. Take